Welcome to the second segment of our podcast. My name is Asha Patanjila and I'm a WUSC International volunteer here in Jordan. This conversation is part of our commitment towards amplifying volunteer voices and stories, and it's made possible through the support of Global Affairs Canada in alignment to International Volunteer Year. Today, we'll be talking about volunteering, and with me are great volunteers who will share their experiences with us. I am absolutely hyped and I can't wait to dive in. So I'll let them introduce themselves, tell us what's up, and hopefully by the end of this segment, you are hooked.
Hi, Asha. My name is Philip Landon. I'm an environmental sustainability advisor at the King Hussein Foundation here in Jordan.
Oh, nice to meet you, Philip. Are you from Canada or?
I am from Canada.
Yeah. Nah, well, how did I guess? Yeah.
Baha, I'm a program development advisor with Princess David Institute.
Thanks.
I'm Nistine. I'm a monitoring, evaluation, and learning advisor with the Princess David Institute.
Right, nice to meet you, and it's really nice to have you all here today. I'm very excited. I just want to dive into the topic. So, Nisreen, would you like to take the honor of answering the first question?
Sure.
And it's, when was the first time you heard about volunteering?
I guess I've always heard of volunteering, the concept of volunteering growing up, but I never really got into volunteer work until I was during my second year in university. When I was in university, it was with an International Students Association, and part of what we did was just welcoming first-year students, helping them with their transition, getting to know the campus, the grounds. So yeah, I guess you could say that was my first,
It's interesting.
volunteer work.
Right, it's interesting to know that there's different timelines to start volunteering for someone. So for some people, it's in the first year of university. For me, personally, it was I guess when I was 17, back in church. It was definitely two different segments.
Different stages.
Yeah, two different life stages. Yeah, you're right. Philip, how about you?
Yeah, I think, like Nazreen said, you sort of grow up with the word volunteering, and you do things to help others, and your family sort of says that's a good thing. I think the first time I formally volunteered was actually after I had graduated from university, and I was a bit lost as to what I was going to do for a career, and I was. People said, well, go and volunteer with an organization or in a sector that you want to work in. And so I volunteered. I wanted to get into drama, and I volunteered with a local theater company in Montreal, hoping that I might be able to get a maybe acting role or do something directing in the background. And I walked in and they said, oh, you're the volunteer? I said, yeah, and I'm here to help. And I said, what can I do for you? And they said, do you know how to sew? I said, I'm sorry? Do you know how to sew? And I said, not very well, but show me. And they said, come here. And they sat down and they taught me how to sew a button on a jacket. And it turned out the play that they were preparing was a period piece where all the costumes had buttons. And so in the end, I spent a full day or 2 full days sewing buttons onto jackets. I got very good at it. But, I thought my volunteering was going to lead to becoming an actor or something like that. It actually led to me being a very good sewer of buttons, but I did what they needed and I felt good about it.
Right, and it's nice that you mentioned, because there's expectations versus reality. There's where you're needed in, and versus what you want, and these are the experiences we experience as volunteers. Oh, I want to do this, but I need it here.
I needed somewhere else. Yeah.
How did you navigate that? How did you come to an acceptance of I just want to? Did you always have a, let's say, a willing heart to contribute, or you feel a little bit sad about?
No, I think life does this. It takes you in different directions, and this was the direction that obviously they needed help, and they needed somebody to do that, and I could be there. I had a pair of hands to help do it, and so I was able to do it, and I think that's one of the beauties of volunteering, is that you actually go into places where you may not have been before in a way.
Yeah, right. So it's being open-minded, because you did learn something.
I did indeed.
It is a very important skill. Hopefully you get to sew more buttons soon. Yeah, Baha, this question is going to be directed to you, and it's in regards to, growing up. How did people around you talk about volunteering? And because, like, I know you have a Canada and Jordanian experience. Like, did people talk about volunteering a lot? What was your experience like?
To be honest, we got raised with the idea that volunteering is usually extra work, been directed by the elderly to help achieve specific goals. I'll start with how I looked at volunteering. Volunteering to me was a way for me to show off a little bit, engage in the surrounding society, meet like-minded people, etc. But I guess things pay off, right? After a while, you start learning more, and this will take you different routes in your life. The more you excel with your career, the more you use volunteering to not only do extra tasks for free, but also is to influence people, learn from them, and teach them as well.
Definitely. You did talk about paying off, right? And like we did have this discussion before, and I love this example because it's hard out here. You mentioned that you met your wife volunteering once.
Well, my wife was part of the circle around me in Canada, the Arab Society in London, Ontario. And we've done a lot of volunteering that, preparing for celebrations, either religious, Arabic, etc. Yeah. And she was really into that whole volunteering part. And I pursued that to, get closer. But I learned a lot. We end up doing some volunteering work outside of our circle, like old folks' homes, etc. And we got married after.
Nice. Actually, you do find love in these spaces. So, of course, like for you, you went to for your pursuits.
That's not an extra. What is?
Oh yeah, it's a very big extra. Like I can't believe there's more to just the basics that comes out of volunteering. There's more to, oh my gosh, I feel so good about this, and more to everything. It's like you end up with a family. There's to it.
16 years later, we're still both doing it.
Oh, love.
I volunteer, she does as well.
Yeah, that's such a great point. It's like 16 years later, you're still in, meaning there's something great behind it, right? But for me, I think there's hope. Now that I hear your message, there's hope that I possibly couldn't find love, but your story has inspired me. I think I'm going to direct this question to Philip, and is like you've mentioned your experiences in volunteering, and I think Baha did mention he's like 16 years later, he's still volunteering, and I'm assuming you're here too as well. Like this happened several years ago, so it's why are you still volunteering?
Well, I mean, in some ways, I think I'm in a privileged position to be able to volunteer, and I think there are times in one's life when you've got to make money, you've got to have a paying job, and you have kids, and it's very busy, and it's often hard to find the time to volunteer. I'm not in that situation. I'm recently retired. My kids are out at school and out of the house, and so all of a sudden, I found myself with the time to volunteer and to share in some little way some of the expertise and experience I have in a way that is helpful to an organization here or in a sector here, and I feel really lucky to be able to do that, and hopefully that what I'm able to bring to the position and to the organization is of value to the organization, and it gives me joy to do that, and so my time here has been really fulfilling for me, and hopefully for the partner I'm working with as well.
Yeah, guaranteed. I think so. Like it actually sparked a thought. Like I thought about our age differences, and I'm thinking volunteering doesn't have an age, right? It could be, at any age, at any point in your life, because this is you after retirement, but you also volunteered after, university and
so true.
college.
So
And
true.
it's like I've been out of college for a while. I've been out here, but I'm also still in a position to volunteer, which like I don't take for granted too, right? Like I like that I get the chance to volunteer, give off what I've learned in the workplace for like the last couple of years after college, and I feel like it's such a great chance. I don't know what better word to put there. It's such a, it's an opportunity actually. And
For sure.
yeah, and I'm so glad that you all get to experience it as well, because like I'm assuming it's been great for you. I'm speaking for myself. It's been great for myself. And Baha, if you would allow me to like ask you, like, what has stood out for you the most within your volunteering experience in these 16 years?
It's really varies from where you started and until you later on in life. In the beginning, you start doing volunteering to gain experience, and you would be lucky enough to do some of this volunteer work with people with experience, people that have done that before, people that's older in age, and then you start looking at them, taking all the little shortcuts and all the little tricks that they use within their work, and that what makes you stand out later in life when you're doing the work yourself. At one point this will change and you will become the expert, and now it's your duty to kind of pass that to the other generations and be like, okay, if you use this can help you, this will make you look good, this all that kind of stuff that you learn over the years.
So basically, you're talking about sustainability, right? Like how it goes on from some person to you to another person. Like it's a cycle that I guess improves.
Absolutely, and you know what? Yeah, it humbles you. You talk to people and be like, "Oh, don't look at me like that. I learned this from someone, and now you learn again from me. I hope you do the same to someone else later." And that's the whole idea, right? Just passing the torch on.
I guess it contradicts a statement that my mom tells me. There's always a quote my mom tells me, and she says something about, is it the ears don't bypass? I don't know, something about the neck not bypassing the ears. So, so she tries to tell me, you'll never be a teacher's teacher, but it seems that you do grow in life to a point that you can also pass on knowledge. But
Arabs say the eye never exceeds the eyebrow.
See, we can't different parts. That does make good. Gee, this read, do you have, anything to say on the topic as well? Basically, what stood up for you?
For me, another part of like my volunteering journey, if you want to say, was after graduating from university, and it started with me. Yeah, I'll volunteer for you. Just tell me what you need. I'll do all the paperwork. I'll do all the work that no one wants to do.
Yeah.
And then it kind of progressed from there. And like Bahat mentioned, it's like you gain all this experience throughout your professional career, and you get to a point where you're able to apply it and you're able to support, the partner organizations with, the expertise that you have, and kind of at the same time, build the capacity of that organization or that staff or team. Yeah. So you kind of pass on the torch.
So it's basically as you're getting, you're giving, and as you're giving, you're getting. So it's like an exchange sort of situation, which takes me to my next question, and it's like, did people around you take volunteering seriously?
Yeah. Like I think my family and the people around me, they really encouraged volunteering. If there's a volunteering opportunity, take it. You never know where it might lead you. If there's one thing to gain, like if you gain knowledge just from that opportunity, that's a very positive thing. So yeah.
I guess from my experience, it's different, right? We're immigrants in Canada and stuff like that, and we moved to Canada to build our lives, to better our lives, and everyone expects you to have like a very good job, a paying job. And when you go out there and you're like, hey, I want to volunteer, they're like, you want to what? Why? Like, why don't you just get a paying job? And you're like, you know what? Like, this is, I think for me, I volunteer because it's in alignment, especially the position I'm doing. way. It's in alignment with my values. It's in alignment with what I'd want to do, what I feel like is purpose. You know, how us Gen Zs are all driven by like and whatnot. But it's my experience would be different, right? It's like not many people have volunteered from where I come from, and you know, they're more inclined to. I mean, they're more drawn to trying to make a living, find stability. You know, yeah. How about you, Philip? Like, how is volunteering? You did mention? I think you did talk a little bit about, you know, how everyone was like supportive.
Yeah.
Volunteering. God, you're engaged.
I think so. I mean, I think sort of from the family, and I think actually as we grow up as children, you are encouraged to volunteer. I do think there can be a sort of stigma, as you suggested, that it's not work, and we, you know, you should be working. Why would you do that when you could be working? But I think that point of view, people sort of misunderstand what volunteering is and the benefit that it gives to us. And so I think, as Baha said, you know, certainly when you're starting in your career, often volunteering is the way to get that experience that you can't get. But it also takes you in areas in your career which you might not have gone to. And as you go through your career and you work with your family or you work with your community, it really brings you closer to the community, makes you part of the community, makes your family part of the community. And then when you get to the end of your career, you know, it actually is exactly as Baha said, a way to sort of give back in a way that hopefully doesn't seem to be, you know, the old person telling the young kid what to do, but actually something where you can say, yeah, we've been through this experience and hopefully I can help, you know, guide you through that. And it's as I said earlier, it's very fulfilling and it's I think humbling and very rewarding for me in my life to do this. And you know, being able to be an international volunteer and come to a country that I've never been in before, and meet wonderful people and you know, learn about the culture here in Jordan, it's a real privilege, and I feel very, very lucky and fortunate to be in this situation. Situation.
Yeah, you did mention something that actually triggered a thought, and I'm thinking you talked about how you're able to give back, but do you think you've been learning new things as well while you've been volunteering?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and I think you learn new things when you put yourself in unfamiliar situations. And so coming to a new country, in a new culture, with a different language, working with an organization that you don't know, there's going to be a lot of learning for you, for sure. And you know, in many ways, I think the volunteers, international volunteers, learn more than the organizations that they're volunteering with. But it's very much, I think you said, a giving and getting relationship.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Baha? And it's not because of the gray hair that I'm asking.
No, absolutely. Some of those kids have really, really good skills and little tricks, especially with all these AI tools that they have, and so it has been a really learning opportunity for me. I learned a lot about all that kind of stuff, and I always like to think about, okay, how can I use the strategic way of thinking that we always had before, and use those tools to enhance our work even more. And the results sometimes are really, really fulfilling. But yeah, I learn every day something new.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of great things about volunteering, right? And I know that there are challenges that we have faced as volunteers. So, Nasreen, do you want to share with us? Do you want to share this? Like any challenges you may have faced as a volunteer in your volunteering experience? Yeah, it's.
Who would be the one to say that I haven't faced any challenges? But I mean, like, I have been lucky enough to be with partner organizations that, you know, really value volunteering and having, you know, a volunteer within the team.
Plus, you're a very sweet lady. So following up but in my case, sometimes it has been different.
personally, I faced challenges with proving myself and convincing the environment around me that I might have something to give and add on to the organization or to the work environment. But I guess that's part of the volunteering experience. Not always you can give your fullest, and I don't think we are there to do so. We are there first to capture the environment, try to understand it, learn it, and then help as much as we can. Really, because sometimes the way we see things, we're not in the position of decision making. So their path might be a little bit different than our views and visions. So learn the culture, try to give as much as you can, and just...
It goes back to like Philip's example about, the expectations versus reality, like where you're needed.
Absolutely.
Versus,
Yeah, and I was going to say, like, for organizations, it's not always easy on how to deploy a volunteer, how to use a volunteer, because when you've got a staff position, it's clear you've got an HR contract with a position and so on and so forth, and volunteers come in with sometimes a lot of expertise and sometimes not so much expertise, and the expectations on what a volunteer can do is something that often the organization will not know until they see that volunteer for a week, a month, 2 months, 4 months. And so for an organization to be able to deploy volunteers well, it's actually a real organizational strength. If you can bring in a volunteer and get them to help and to bring the best of their expertise and experience. But it's not an easy thing to do because and in some cases, the volunteers are still, getting oriented, coming from a different culture, finding themselves as well. So there are elements there which can be a challenge. But, in some ways, they're not that different from the challenge of any new employee sort of getting oriented and comfortable in an organization.
But allow me to quote you. There's something you said about institutions, and you're like, the best institutions are institutions that know how to make use of volunteers.
Yeah, what I've sort of found in my experience is that organizations that can use volunteers well and get them going well, that's a real indicator of a strong institution with strong capacity, because they have to be able to find and sort of manage the ambiguity a little bit, both from the volunteer side and from the rest of the staff side. So if you have an organization that's able to use volunteers well, get the most out of them, and have good volunteering experiences and good results and impact as a result, that shows a strong organization.
Yeah, for sure. And not to take us aback, like when Baha was speaking about his experience, the challenges he experienced, I said, oh, well, I'm experiencing the same thing as Baha, like I came in and I'm thinking, like I'm probably not giving in as much as I should, or, I'm not living up to, I guess, the best of my capacity, and like it got me going through some sort of imposter syndrome, like it is stuff that you experience, and I think it's quite normal, right? It's accepting that it will happen. Yeah, I think
just understanding that the volunteer position is to support. It's not in the decision-making position. So therefore, you give your advice, you give what you can, and you wait for the response, and where that your partner organization wants to go, because they might have different visions, different goals. So, which if you look at it from the other side, that can be something good for you. That will take some of the pressure off your back.
Oh, yeah. You're like, well, which means good situation.
You just give that advice and let them lead.
Yeah, I usually ask Philip this question, and like I just want him to talk about it a little bit. But it's like, when you do experience imposter syndrome, right? What is your best way out? Or through, if in case the imposter stays there, but like, how do I make it with the presence of, the imposter, with that voice telling me, I'm not good enough, or like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, oh my gosh, I'm not giving it, because like there comes a point, am I projecting too much? I think I'm projecting too. There was a point, I questioned myself. I questioned whether I was, contributing towards the expectations of the partner organization, whether I was, whether I was skilled enough. And I do know I'm skilled enough, but sometimes I'm not saying I'm all that, right? But I do understand that there's some skills I possess, but sometimes it's easy to forget. So it's how do you get through moments where you're experiencing all these, these downsides, all these.
Yeah, well, a couple of things I'd say. One, I think we all experience imposter syndrome. I think even the most sort of educated and experienced of us, we're going into new situations, and it can be nerve-wracking to know what to do, and so I think it's very normal, and I think knowing that imposter syndrome is normal is one of the ways of dealing with imposter syndrome.
Right.
And I'd also say, as you go on in your career, you become, from my experiences, you become a little more confident in your judgment because you have done things.
Right.
And so even when new experiences or challenges present themselves, if you've been through challenges and you've made a good judgment, over time, you have more confidence in your judgment.
Right.
And I think once you have more confidence in your judgment, then you're ready for anything to a certain extent. And so that's sort of how I dealt with imposter syndrome, going into a new situation, thinking I'm not really an expert here, but bring me a challenge and I'll look at it and I'll work on it, and it won't be terrible. My decision, it might not be the best, but it'll be helpful, right?
So basically, I guess what I take from this is actually not looking at the challenge as the enemy. Like, it's an opportunity.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
It's an opportunity to give your best shot and to grow. And I guess for people that are in my shoes, it's we're new to this, so it's a learning opportunity where we're getting to. I've learned a lot in my short 2 months here, and there have been so many challenges, but it's been opportunities for growth. I find there's a saying that goes, there is no growth in the comfort zone. So I've realized every time I'm comfortable, I have to ask myself, am I growing, or am I too comfortable? So I like that volunteering has put me in a position where I get to challenge a lot of things that I know and unlearn and relearn certain things.
Yeah, nice.
So this is a very interesting question. I don't know who would want to answer it first. I'm just gonna. But how has volunteering shaped how you show up in other spaces?
I guess for me, volunteering is putting myself into the other person's shoes, or, it's in this case, it's what does the partner organization need? So it's for me, it's showing up, offering my help, my support.
Right.
So, it's they need support in a certain, in a certain task, in a certain field. So it's just showing up, giving your best. And, in your head, it's from my point of view as monitoring, evaluation, and learning, it's okay, from my point of view, they might need support in this thing, or, so it's more how I can help. That's how I'm gonna,
I've learned that there's so much strength in showing up.
Yeah.
Showing up itself is not just showing up. There's a lot. You have to, wake up when the alarm goes off. You have to fight all these voices in your head saying you should sleep more. You have to, people have families, people have all these challenges, everything they're going through. So showing up isn't just showing up. So that's
they say showing up is just that's half of
the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is definitely just half. It is not just. It is half of the time. That is so task. Showing up is such a How about you, Baha?
No, I definitely agree with this stream. When you think about volunteering, you can find that difference between, okay, I'm waking up today and I'm going to work because I have a goal and I need to achieve that goal. But when you're a volunteer, you are helping other people achieve a goal that they set up even before they met you or before they asked for your help. So I guess that helps you be calm, helps you run away from all those questions that we were talking about. Am I good enough?
Yeah. But it's 16 years later, right? 16 years later, what which is a nice question. What would you say is the highlight? You know, like, what would you say? Oh, this is what I got from volunteering.
I learned a lot. I learned to always humble myself, make sure that I have enough to hear somebody out, to learn more, and gathering those little pieces of information helps you come on to look strong in other situations where you and I give the directions and the instructions. So it's the easiest way to gain experience and learn from other people's mistakes without having to take the
blame.
The blame for. That's the difference between being an employee
And being a volunteer.
here.
It's like there's more room for mistakes. Remind my soya. Oh, Baha is like, you can make mistakes, please. You're a volunteer. So okay, I know it's gonna lock you in prison for it. Hopefully not.
You know, Asha, if it's okay, but I would like to add to what Bahat just said. Like, us volunteers, maybe most of the time we have more technical positions, more behind-the-scenes positions. So it's just like, for your volunteering assignment, whether it's like 6 months or 12 months, it's like at the end of your assignment, you can look back and say, okay, I was a part of that.
Yeah.
Whether it was like a small role or a bigger role, it's like, okay, I in some way helped achieve that. And I think with each different partner organization and the different work that they do, it's just being amazing. It's just amazing to be part of, like, you know, that volunteer.
The big
Yeah.
achievement, the big goal.
Right, it goes to the conversation we had about the Ubuntu philosophy that talks about all our contributions contributing to a greater picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a great it's a great philosophy to live by. I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's knowing that what you're doing may seem small, but it contributes to something significantly bigger, right?
Yeah.
It's like every step is needed for the big step to be taken.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Bahat writes proposals that get the funding, you know?
Yeah, all the money.
Yeah, also money, you know, whether it's to help the youth or, you know, schools, people with a disability. So, yeah.
But based on what you were saying, I think my favorite one is a fund that we used. It was a volunteer fund from WISC that we used one day. And we volunteered in King Hussein Foundation Orphanage in Al Ashrafiyah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was very small amount of money. And there was like 3 of us.
Yeah.
My fellow volunteers are back in Canada. Hassan and Sarah.
Yeah.
And we bought them rings.
Yeah.
And we bought them basketballs. We bought them like pumps and all the gear and t-shirts and sneakers and whatever. Yeah.
It does. It does. Wow. That's such a powerful story.
I like if I may, I wanted to just jump on what Nasreen said about Baha writing proposals,
Right.
which is actually a very big part of an organization.
Part. And you're saying just
But at the same time, those proposals do not get funded if the programming team does not do good programming. And so and to the, you know, it takes a village philosophy, right? It's like this is a really important role that he plays, and in some ways a very like an absolutely critical and essential role. But again, it's the whole organization, and so you play a part in that organization, and it's nice, as I think you said, Nazreen, to take yourself out of the I have to look for credit. You know, when you're in a job and this is my credit, that was my way. You can celebrate that win because it took everybody to do that, and I think volunteering helps give that perspective a bit.
right.
Yeah.
So as a volunteer, you do belong. Like you.
Yeah.
For that moment, I guess.
For that moment, oh, absolutely.
For that moment, you do belong to the organization. You do belong to whatever the organization is working towards. You're a big part of it. Like it's for sure. So this is my favorite part, and it's if you would tell anyone that's thinking of volunteering something, what is it that you would tell them? You know, like if you could tell someone that's, let's say, older and they're retired and they want to and they're thinking of like what next, like how can I contribute to the community, like what would I say to them? And if you could tell someone that's not older, someone that's younger, and they're probably right out of university, out of college, probably even out of high school, it's like, what would you tell them? What would you say to them? Should I give you a minute?
You look like
You're like, yeah, I got
Well, I will tell them what I wasn't told years ago, which is volunteering is part of your career. It's not an extra. It's not separate. You can set your goals even before you start your studying, before you start your job, and before you start volunteering. Have goals. Understand where you want to go in life, or at least
Have an idea.
Have an idea, exactly, yes. And then start pursuing opportunities, education, job opportunities, volunteering. They will all, in the end, get you where you want to go.
Right, for sure.
Well, I would tell them, just go for it. Like, if there's a chance, there's an opportunity to take it.
Yeah.
And like you said, you learn and you grow by putting yourself out there. So you might discover things about yourself, you never knew before. And you might discover something you're passionate about so I would just say go for it.
And you might also meet people.
You might also meet the one.
You might meet the one and somehow get married and have a family and all is well and you're still going to eat. Yeah. If you do it long enough, there's a condition. I never got the terms and conditions.
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith. Yeah, how about you, Philip?
Well, I mean, I've heard a lot of great things in this conversation. There's no growth in comfort zone.
Yeah.
And telling somebody that and thinking about your life ahead of you, or even your life ahead of you, and how many opportunities there are in this world, and you limit yourself if you just focused only on the career in your job. So broaden your horizons, and volunteering is a really good way to do that. It does involve putting yourself out there. It does involve getting out of the comfort zone, and you've got to do that. But once you do that, I think you really grow and enjoy and meet people and are able to contribute in many ways. So that would be what I would tell my children. but I would also tell the people who are at the same stage of their career as me, which is that where you've in some ways come to the end of that working career. It's not the end of life. No, there's many more things to do,
and so many years, and
so many opportunities to volunteer where you can be very helpful, and it's so rewarding.
Right, for sure. It's nice. There's so much wisdom in here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, will I have anything else to say? But if you permit me, and this is from everything I've heard from everyone, what I've learned is that value isn't just monetary, right? It's not really just about the money that you're getting. There's so much more to life. There's so much experiences, and there's also lessons, right? It's like I didn't pay to learn about everything that I'm learning about. I didn't pay to be here. So I don't take that lightly. So to anyone that's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get money if I volunteer or something like that. You're not going to get money, but there's so much value that you're going to get. You're going to get knowledge, you're going to get wisdom, you're going to get the chance to hang out with cool people and meet really, really great people. I think for me, the highlight it's always meeting people. I love meeting people and learning from you. So it's more knowledge, which if you ask me, it's more money. Apparently I've been called a material girl, but its value isn't just monetary. There's so much value in everything else, and so give it a try for sure. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I loved hearing from you. I hope this is not the last time that we get to meet. It's not the last time we get to talk and have these conversations, and that would be it from us.
مرحبا، أنا ليليان، واليوم رح نحكي أكتر عن موضوع كتير مهم، موضوع أثر فينا وتأثرنا منه، ويلي هو التطوع. التطوع زي ما بتعرفوا هو تجربة شخصية وإنسانية واجتماعية. وبهاي الحلقة رح نحكي أكتر عن مشروع التطوع التشاركي والممول من الحكومة الكندية. بحب نرحب بضيوفنا يلي رح يحكوا لنا أكتر عن رحلتهم بالتطوع ويحكوا لنا شو يعني تطوع. أهلا وسهلا فيكي.
أهلا ليليان، أنا نسرين متطوعة مع ويسك في مجال المتابعة والتقييم.
أهلا فيك نسرين.
كيفك ليليان؟
تمام الحمد لله.
شكرا لاستضافتنا. اسمي بهاء، متطوع مع ويسك في مجال تطوير المشاريع وكتابتها.
أهلا وسهلا فيكم. صراحة كتير محمس نحكي عن موضوع التطوع، وكتير حلو نسمع إنه في ناس عم تتطوع، وبلشت أتحمس من هلأ. بهاء، بحب أسألك شو يعني التطوع وكيف كانت أول تجاربك بالتطوع؟ تقدر تحكي لنا أكتر؟
والله احنا التطوع ببلش معانا من سن مبكر، من وقت لما الأم أو الست تقول لك شيل عن فلان، حط عن فلان، روح ساعد، إلى آخره. فمفهوم التطوع بيبدأ معنا من سن كتير صغيرة، لكن هذا شوية بيأثر على مفهومنا له لما نكبر شوي. بضل عايش معنا على أساس إنه هو الإكسترا وورك اللي إحنا بنعمله بدون أي مقابل وبدون أي فائدة. بس الواحد لما يستمر بالتطوع بيتعلم أشياء كتيرة من وراء كلمة تطوع.
جميل جميل. يعني حكيت إشي كتير حلو، إنه فعليا كيف نتقبل إنه نعمل إشي من دون مقابل. فهذا بحس إنه ممكن نسرين تحكي لنا أكتر قديه كنتي قادرة تكملي فيه، مع إنه هو زي ما حكى بهاء ما كان، يعني كان من دون مقابل.
صحيح.
فكيف ضليتك مكملة؟ كيف حبيتيه؟ كيف اقتنعتي فيه؟
يعني أنا أول ما بلشت إنه عمل التطوعي كنت بالجامعة، سنة ثانية جامعة، وبعديها الواحد بيصير كمان يعني يركز على دراسته أكتر، وبيصير بده يدخل مجال يعني البروفيشنال اكسبيرينس زي ما بقول.
صح. هل فعليا التطوع رسم لك طريقك، وكيف رسم لك يعني؟
أكيد طبعا. التجربة كانت هي الكفيلة بأنها تساعدني لرسم الطريق. والتجارب هذه الصغيرة تراكمت لأنه الواحد يقدر إنه يعمل كارير خاص فيه إله. عشان هيك لما يكون في حوار بيني وبين حدا أصغر بالعمر دائما بحكي له إنه فكر في تحديد الأهداف.
حلو.
قبل ما أنت تدخل على أي مجال أنت بدك تروحه. فأنت عندك التعليم، وفي عندك العمل الوظيفي، وبنفس الوقت عندك التطوع. التطوع جزء من هذه المنظومة مش منفصل عنها.
جميل جدا.
فأكيد أنت التطوع والإديوكيشن والأشياء الثانية هذه بترسم لك الطريق، بس لازم يكون في لك نظرة أنت في البداية، تحدد أهداف أساسية عشان تعرف لوين بدك توصل بالأخير.
حلو كتير. طيب، مع كل هاي الجوانب اللي بتساعدنا نوصل اللي نحن بدنا إياه، أكيد في تأثير للمجتمع. بعدين إن إحنا لما نحكي للمجتمع إنه أنا بدي أشتغل إشي من دون مقابل، دايما وخاصة بهاي الظروف دايما بحكي لك إنه شو بدك فيه، روح شوف لك شغل جيب منه مصاري، تعرف تعمل تبني بيت ولا تبني عائلة. فدايما بتحسوا في نوع من الهدم بهذا الموضوع، إنه في تكسير من النشاط والحماس. فكيف بتشوفي هاي الفكرة؟ يعني أنت لما بلشتي بالتطوع كيف كان تشجيع الناس اللي حولك؟
يعني الحمد لله اللي كانوا حوالي، يعني أهلي واللي كانوا حوالي دائما كانوا يشجعوني على التطوع.
ممتاز.
وكمان يعني دائما كنا نتذكر مثلا إحنا مش بس يعني لحالنا أفراد، بس إنه إحنا من ضمن مجتمع.
صحيح.
وكل واحد فينا له يعني مسؤولية مجتمعية. فبأي طريقة بنقدر نساعد فيها إنه يعني لازم ناخد هاي الفرصة.
طيب نسرين، لو أنت هلأ قدامك شاب وفيكي نحكي إنه محتار إنه يباشر بخطوة للتطوع أو لا، ومعك كلمة تحكي له إياها، شو ممكن تحكي؟
بس كلمة ولا
نعطيكي أكتر؟
يعني أنا أكيد رح أشجعه على التطوع، بس يعني الكلمة اللي كتير يعني دائما بذهني إنه المعرفة. يعني
حلوة
كتير، يعني الفرصة التطوع كتير رح تزيد له يعني معرفة
حلوة وكبيرة. يعني معرفة مش كلمة صغيرة، بالعكس يعني رح تفتح لك بوابة كتير إنك توصل للمعرفة، ويت يمكن ما نوصل أصلا، لأن إحنا دائما بنوصل وبدنا كتير لنوصل للمعرفة. فكتير حبيت الكلمة صراحة، ونيال اللي حدا رح يكون معك لأنه دايركت رح يكون خلص بده يباشر بالتطوع صراحة، وأنا أولهم يعني. طيب بهاء، رح أنتقل لك وأحكي لك، هل تعرضت مثلا يوما ما لما اجيت بدك تتطوع انه لقيت في ناس ما عم بتشجعك؟
اكيد طبعا. التحديات هذه بتمر بطريق المتطوع، وخصوصا في مجتمعنا ممكن انها تكون شويه صعبه. الاقتناع بهذه النقطه دائما بحكي لزملائي انه انت ما دامك حسيت انه انا متطوع، انا بعطي النصح، انا مش في مركز صناعه قرار، هذا اصلا هيسهل عليك كثير من
المسيره كامله رح تتسهل. صح. وكمان بقدر يا ما بعرف اذا بتأيدني بالموضوع، كمان لما يكون هو يعني بمكان مش بس عم بيفيد، هو عم بيستفيد كمان. أكيد. فهذا الاشي لحاله كمان رح يحمسه بزيادة انه يمشي اكتر.
100%. صح. بشتغل كتير مع هدول الشباب والصبايا الجداد، صح ممكن ما يكون عندهم النظرة الكبيرة على الاستراتيجيات وعلى الخبرات اللي احنا تراكمت معنا على السنين، بس عندهم شوية تولز خصوصا مع فترة الاي اللي احنا بنمر فيها بتسهل الشغل كتير، كل يوم بتعلم شغله.
ممتاز. هذا كتير حلو، لانه هو فعليا التعلم ما بينتهي وبتضل هي عجله ومستمره، فهذا الاشي كتير حلو. طيب كونه عم نحكي عن مشروع التطوع التشاركي، كيف بتشوفي يعني هلا كيف بلشتي انت بالتطوع، وكيف شايفه التطوع هلا فعليا عم بيتطور وصرنا نسمع فيه اكتر؟ فكيف بتشوفي انه فعليا التشاركيه ادت انه التطوع يتطور اكتر، وكيف نظرتك اختلفت بين اول ما بلشتي وهلا؟
يعني أول ما بلشت أكيد مثلا كنت إنه متخرجة جديد من الجامعة، وكنت كتير يعني إنه بس أعطوني شغل إيش بدكم بعمله. بس طبعا مع سنين الخبرة هلأ يعني بهاي المرحلة بحياتي إنه وصلت مرحلة إنه ممكن إنه أنا يعني أرجع أعطي خبرتي، يعني الخبرة اللي اكتسبتها ممكن إنه أرجع أطبقها.
حلو كتير.
يعني بالمؤسسات. وهلا يعني عم بشوف مع المؤسسات اللي عم تشتغل مع وسك يعني انه في كتير تقبل للمتطوعين، فعم بشوف اعداد المتطوعين يعني اكيد عم بزيد، يعني فرق من ما تقولي يعني 10 أو 15 سنه.
وانت عم تحكي انه برضه فرق وصار في اقبال اكثر على التطوع مقارنه باول ما بلشتي.
اكيد.
فهذا الاشي صراحه كمان بيعطينا شويه هيك بصيص امل انه فعليا التطوع عم بيكبر وعم بيكتر، وانه حلو انه نحن وطبعا بجهودكم اكيد المشكوره جدا انكم تساعدوا وكيف احكي لكم انه تحمسوا الشباب بانهم يتطوعوا، لانه فعليا شيء كتير حلو. احب هلا انتقل لسؤال يذكرنا شوي بهيك ميموري، ذكرى بمسيرتكم التطوعيه معلقه فيكم واثرت فيكم نوعا ما. اذا بتقدر تحكي لنا بها هيك ذكرى حلوة أثرت فيك أو علمتك فعليا مو قادر تنساها وما رح تنساها.
والله خلال فترة العمل اللي اشتغلناها انتقلنا من أماكن كثيرة، وفي شغلات الواحد ممكن يذكرها. طوعنا كمثال في دار رعاية للأيتام، واشتغلنا مع الأولاد والبنات اللي كانوا هناك، وعملنا لهم دوري كرة سلة صغير. فبتذكر من بين الشغلات اللي كتير علقت معي، كانوا الأولاد يحكوا لي يسألوني أستاذ ليش إحنا ما بنقدر نشوت هذه الطابة شمعنا ما بتنشات. فكانوا دائما أحس إنهم هم يتطلعوا لليوم اللي إحنا هنيجي نتطوع عندهم، والحقيقة كنا إنه إحنا بنتطلع لهذا اليوم اللي نيجي عندهم.
وإنتي نسرين تقدري تحكي لنا أكتر هيك عن ذكرى أو أثر من التطوع فيكي؟
هلأ بالنسبة إلي أنا بشوف يعني كل مرحلة تطوعت فيها إنه تركت أثر
حلو.
يعني في مثلا بنهاية كل مشروع إنه لأن كنت من يعني شغالة من ضمنه، إنه لما تشوفي خلص إنه سكر المشروع وتحسي شوي يعني بالفخر إنه أنت كنتي من ضمن مثلا الكادر اللي اشتغل على هذا المشروع. ويعني مهما تكون يعني الرول تاعك صغير، إنه بس إنه ساهمتي
يعني بإنتاجه المشروع. حلو كتير صراحة اللي حكيتي فيه، لأنه دائما أنا مع الشعور بالفخر. هذا الشيء كتير حلو لأنه بيعزز عنا الخطوة الجاي إنه نحن نعمل أكتر. فصراحة كتير حبيت بهنيكم صراحة وبحسدكم شوي بس حسد إيجابي نيالكم عن جد، وبتمنى أكون مكانكم. وصراحة بحب تشجيعكم وإصراركم على موضوع التطوع، وبتمنى كل اللي عم بيشوفنا يكمل بهذا الإشي ويقرأ أكتر عن التطوع وعن كيف بنقدر نتطوع. إحنا ما خلصنا، رح تكمل معكم زميلتي آشا بالجزء الثاني. يعطيكم ألف عافية.